Litecoin's exchange supply just hit a multi-year low, and the last time that happened, LTC ran over 180% in under 3 months. That's not a coincidence, that's a signal. And right now in August 2026, most people are sleeping on it completely. LTC is sitting at $44.51, down 3.6% on the week. Nothing exciting on the surface. But if you've been watching this market long enough, you know that the boring, sideways, low-volume grind is exactly where the next move gets loaded. The crowd is distracted by the shiny stuff. Meanwhile, something is quietly building under Litecoin's chart that deserves your attention today. Here's what triggered this. On-chain data over the past few weeks shows a steady, consistent drain of LTC off exchanges. Not a spike, a grind. Coins moving into cold storage. Wallets that haven't touched their LTC in over a year suddenly going dormant again rather than selling. And miner outflows, which typically signal distribution, have actually slowed down. When miners stop selling, it usually means one thing. They think higher prices are coming and they're willing to hold through the uncertainty. That's not retail behavior. That's conviction. Combine that with the macro backdrop, Bitcoin dominance starting to flatten in mid-2026, capital beginning to rotate into the larger altcoins, and Litecoin sitting at rank 28 with deep liquidity and a decade plus of infrastructure behind it, starts looking a lot more interesting than a $44 price tag implies. So let's talk about what Litecoin actually is, because I think most people either massively overestimate or massively underestimate this coin. Litecoin launched in 2011. It was built by a former Google engineer named Charlie Lee, who took Bitcoin's core code and made 3 key changes: faster block times, a different mining algorithm, and a higher total supply. The result was a network that confirms transactions roughly 4 times faster than Bitcoin and costs a fraction of a cent to use. The old analogy, Bitcoin is digital gold, Litecoin is digital silver, is actually still pretty accurate. It's not trying to be a smart contract platform. It's not trying to be a DeFi hub. It does one thing: move value quickly and cheaply. And it's been doing that reliably for 15 years without a major hack, without a network failure, and without a rebrand every 18 months. That sounds boring, but boring infrastructure that actually works is exactly what a certain type of institutional money wants to touch. If this breakdown is helping you think about LTC more clearly, subscribe to Crypto Sayans. We break down moves like this before they go mainstream. Now let's talk about the opportunity, because this is where it gets real. Litecoin has a halving cycle, just like Bitcoin. The most recent halving reduced block rewards for miners, tightening the new supply entering the market. Historically, the 12 to 18 months following a Litecoin halving have been the strongest price windows for LTC. We are currently inside that post-halving window. That's not a theory. It's a pattern that has played out in prior cycles, and it's the structural backdrop sitting behind every LTC chart right now. If Bitcoin continues its current trajectory and pushes toward new highs before the end of 2026, altcoin capital rotation typically hits the highest liquidity, most recognized names first. Litecoin, with its name recognition, its exchange listings across every major platform globally, and its deep spot market, is one of the first stops for that rotational money. A conservative target in that scenario puts LTC somewhere in the $90 to $120 range by Q1 2027. An aggressive bull case, driven by a full altcoin season and genuine institutional accumulation, could push it toward 180 to 200s. Those aren't random numbers. They're based on prior cycle percentage moves applied to the current base, adjusted for a larger overall market cap environment. The math isn't magic. It's pattern recognition from a coin that's been through multiple full market cycles. PayPal and Venmo have both listed Litecoin as a supported asset for years. Grayscale has held an LTC product. The infrastructure for institutional exposure already exists. The question isn't whether institutions can access LTC. It's whether the macro conditions make them want to in the back half of 2026. But let's be honest about the risk, because if I don't tell you this, someone else will, and they'll use it to dismiss everything above. Litecoin has an image problem. It is frequently called a zombie coin. Old technology, no major development catalysts, overshadowed by Ethereum, Solana, and newer layer 1s that offer programmability and DeFi ecosystems. And that criticism isn't entirely wrong. Litecoin's developer activity is low compared to the top smart contract platforms. Its narrative isn't exciting. There's no Litecoin ETF filing making headlines right now. If Bitcoin stalls or drops hard, Litecoin doesn't have a strong enough independent story to hold up on its own. It tends to fall harder and faster than Bitcoin in a risk-off environment. The $44 level has also been a graveyard of bounces before. If it breaks below $38 with volume, that changes the technical picture significantly, and the thesis needs to be reassessed. Don't fall in love with a trade. Watch the level. So here's my honest take. Litecoin at $44.51 in August 2026 is a watch, leaning toward a measured buy for anyone with a 6 to 12-month horizon who already has their core positions in Bitcoin and Ethereum covered. It is not a moonshot bet. It is not going to 10x from here in 90 days, but it has real infrastructure, a tightening supply picture, a post-halving tailwind, and the kind of liquidity that lets you actually get in and out without destroying your own trade. If you're building a diversified crypto portfolio and you want exposure to the altcoin rotation without betting on an unproven project, Litecoin is one of the few rank 28 coins you can say that about with a straight face. Size it appropriately. Watch the $38 level as your line in the sand. And don't ignore the on-chain data. When coins leave exchanges consistently, that supply isn't available to sell into your face on the way up. Subscribe to Crypto Sayans. We break down the top coins every week so you never miss a move like this one. Hit the bell so you actually see it when we post.